Harvard just announced that they're making tuition free for families making less than $200,000 a year. But I think this is actually just a PR stunt to cover up a huge budget shortfall. And what they're really going to be doing is admitting way fewer students who actually need financial aid. People forget that over 11% of Harvard's budget, over $686 million, comes directly from federal funding, and almost all of that is on the chopping block now under the new administration. So imagine that you're Harvard. Now, you just saw Columbia University lose $400 million in federal funding. So it's reasonable that you would think that the same thing might just happen to you. So what you want to do is in advance prepare your budget so you have a little bit of extra cash lying around so that you can weather the difference if federal funding happens to evaporate. Now, there's a few ways that you could actually do this. The first would be to fire your administrators. Now, colleges don't like doing this. Administrators don't like firing themselves, so that's not really going to be the option they prefer. The second way they could do this would be to fire faculty and staff. But if you look at how things are turning out at Columbia, you can see that that's very messy. They don't want to do that either. Now, the third way, and this is the one they're going to be favoring, is to increase the revenue that they get directly from tuition. Now, there's two ways that they could handle that. The first way would be to just charge students more. Instead of charging, now it's almost $100,000 a year they're already charging, they could make that $150,000, $200,000. But that gets them a PR disaster. People don't like seeing prices go up. Okay, but now they have option number two. Option number two would be to just admit a much larger percentage of their class from families that can afford to pay full tuition. And that's the option they're going with. But here's the thing. They can't go out in public and just say, excuse me, we're only taking rich kids this year. In fact, they got such a PR boost from saying we're need blind and all the virtue signaling that went along with that. They definitely want to keep that. So what they do instead is they say, oh, watch this. We're going to make tuition free for families that make less than $200,000 a year. Look how great we are. Until you ask them, exactly how many families do you accept that make less than $200,000 a year? And especially in the next couple of years, what you're going to see is that percentage is going to become vanishingly small, because what they're trying to do here is make sure they preserve their image while increasing revenue.